what is going on? She's just deleted her Twitter. She's getting called out because it was exposed, because an interview got
When I say this, I mean it. After Caitlin Clark made her public in front of the league, the Indiana Fever president is in complete panic mode. A lot of people are incredulous, and the criticism is becoming worse every hour.
I'm not joking when I say this. Something's gone weirdly wrong. Like, we hired a freaking Chronically Online.
But hold on, this is more than just one press conference or a widely circulated film. The narrative is much more intricate. I also possess all the data.
Said before, and I will say it again. Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Crosscroft, the Indiana Fever president, they were not ready. Now, Christine Brennan in her book confirmed the WNBA and the Indiana Fever did not realize what they were about to get themselves into with drafting Caitlin Clark, because the popularity they weren't prepared for and didn't see coming.
Supporters of Caitlin Clark are speaking out after the Indiana Fever's front office took a terrible turn. The rookie, who, by herself, has been packing arenas and elevating the WNBA to a must-watch television program, is now facing criticism from her own club president. Yes, the fan base was rattled by Kelly Crosscoff's tone and sensitive remarks. "We want the Fever to look like Apple." It's a strange flex because it sounds like she's referring to Clark by the iPhone case rather than the actual iPhone. Let's not hold back. Because of Caitlin, the Fever is significant. She is the reason why national cameras continue to roll and product is flying off the shelves. But rather than applauding that, the team's top officials seem more interested in downplaying her importance. It was disliked by the fans. Social media erupted in response, condemning the remark for what it was: disrespect that is plain and simple. Overnight, Crosscoff then committed a disappearing act. Her previous account vanished, just gone, with no apology or explanation. As though realizing her error, she logged out in the hopes that the heat would subside. But it's already too late. The internet and Fever followers never forget.
Yes, Stephanie White, every single solitary move that you make is going to be scrutinized. Welcome to it.
You can tell someone is feeling the heat when they remove their social media accounts during a scandal. After her now famous Apple comment about the team went viral, and not in the way she had hoped, Kelly Crosscoff, the president of the Fever, did exactly that. The general public didn't hesitate. When the video went viral, Clark's fans flocked in like bees on a fallen drink, condemning Crosscoff for trying to use a commercial metaphor to reduce Caitlin Clark, the real force behind the WNBA's current prominence, to a generic product. By Friday evening, Croft had erased his previous account. Simply poof, without any commentary, justification, or attempt at tidying up. Furthermore, no PR statement could ever really convey the impact of that quiet. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were incensed. We're talking about season ticket holders and ardent supporters who feel duped after donning Fever gear throughout losing seasons. Their team's front office is deliberately fumbling the moment they've all been waiting for. Worse, there had been weeks of silence on Clark's treatment in court. Referees have tossed her around in game after game, acting as if they left their whistles at home. In addition, her own president can no longer appreciate her value without mentioning the brand. Please understand that Crosscoff's retreat to the hills only strengthened the suspicions of those who were following him. The Fever's front office started the match, and it's now more than just bad optics, it's a full-blown trust crisis. Cunningham, Sophie, came next. However, before we begin, if you think Caitlin is being picked out on purpose, kindly click like. Please leave a remark if you think the references are just blind. Sure, kindly press the subscribe button. Things will only become more chaotic from here on out.
If I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing?
You said just go tomorrow. You're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so.
Sophie Cunningham is the self-declared bodyguard of Caitlin Clark, the unofficial vice president of Try That on Our Court, and You'll Get Dropped. With her remarks, she merely lit the league on fire. In the first episode of her podcast, Show Me Something, Sophie went completely crazy. She borrowed her raw monologue straight from a Netflix program. She wasn't only going for competitors, either. Everyone was to blame, especially those who downplayed Caitlin Clark's role in the league. She stated, "You're literally dumb. Not once, twice, but 3 times." On TikTok, YouTube, and X, the video went viral. Right now, it's the catchphrase, and Sophie knew exactly what she was doing. But she's not just a chatterbox. This is the same Sophie who just body-checked a Connecticut Sun player into a different time zone after Clark elbowed him in the face. The fact that she was expelled didn't bother her. "I'm going to defend my teammates," she said. Take that action. However, this is where things get trickier. Sophie wasn't content to just criticize opponents or subpar officiating. She started shooting at her own squad, the Indiana Fever. She claims that part of the real disdain for Caitlin comes from the locker room. Some people close to the squad are calling her podcast a declaration of war. It's true that fans have been experiencing that tension. The WNBA is not the only league engaged in a culture war between established veterans and viral sensations. In Indiana, it is presently smoldering. Moreover, Sophie is not here to show kindness. She's here to make a big splash.
Wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul, and it was meant to send a message. It turned into a scuffle, and I don't think anybody wanted that. But the way that the game went and how egregious the referees were and how they were not protecting players, and they especially weren't protecting the #1 player in this league, the biggest draw in this league, which is Caitlin Clark, and they continue to not do that. To me, this was not a dirty play. This was making a statement because the referees didn't do their damn job. This would not have happened at the end of the game if the referees did their job during the first play. If the referees did their job, not just the first play, every single play leading up to that. If the referees had control of the game, that is their only job. The referees' first job, their #1 job, is to protect their players.
Like, I get it to a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're going to treat them. But there's just more for her.
Let's just put it that way. Caitlin Clark is being hounded on the court. While elbows, body checks, and gouged eyes took place, the referees remained utterly mute. Should someone in the NBA have touched Steph or LeBron in that manner, there would be messages, penalties, and breaking news alerts. But play goes on after Clark gets robbed in the Think About the May 24th Fever versus Liberty game. In the center is Natasha Cloud Rams Clark. There appears to be shoulder-down collision during a 2-point game. The referees stared at each other. Are y'all serious right now? With his hands up, Clark posed the question without a reaction or foul. The Liberty rejoice as the buzzer goes off. In the meantime, they say, Sophie Cunningham was completely honest. Feeling the scorched soil again, she remarked, "There's just more for her." She's right. It is increasingly impossible to avoid the harsh and noisy double standard. Instead of using a strong defense, this is targeted chaos. Even the existence of an implicit purpose has been quietly accepted by certain rival players. Make her put in the effort. However, that's a code for breaking her before she becomes too noticeable. And that's exactly what's happening. But Clark won't break. She wasn't at the league for a glorified hazing routine. She assumed command. When referees don't sound the alarm, Sophie is out there firing on the mic and slinging shoulders like it's her full-time job. This extends beyond a few bad choices. It is beginning to gain traction. To tell the truth, I'm starting to think there may be a conspiracy going on. If you're still here, you know this is more than just a basketball narrative. Don't just watch Get in the Mix, then. To stay up to date, like, comment, and subscribe. The next turn may come at any time.
Sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, we have a real.
In Indiana, behind the scenes, things are not going well, and now there is more than just theater. There is real conflict. On the one hand, the business suits are trying to mold the craze into a sophisticated brand similar to Apple. On the other hand, athletes, fans, and even opposing coaches are conscious of the truth. For a while, Caitlin Clark is the brand. However, this is where things start to become cold. Fever. When President Kelly Krokoff decided to lessen Clark's influence, things took a turn for the worst. This is where Sophie Cunningham comes in, who not only disagreed, but also lost her temper with her own managers. Moreover, this wasn't an unplanned emotional outburst that happened during the interview. Absolutely not. Insiders say the tirade on the podcast was planned, a prearranged assault after the president's speech. Sophie didn't only criticize the WNBA. She called out her own front office in public and put receipts on display. It's not irritation. That's rebellion. It exposed a severe identity crisis inside the series, to be honest. The Fever want to create a dynasty even if they already have the main point. Furthermore, rather than showing her appreciation, they're acting as if she were a threat. Now, the group is split up. There are many who are adamant that Caitlin will be the future. Some people are clinging to power from the past. What do you know? The advocates are not deaf. Neither is Sophie. Krokoff isn't predicated on that mysterious deleted X account either. Let's be truthful.
I can take a look here.
What the WNBA is doing with Caitlin Clark is the equivalent of the NBA doing this to Michael Jordan in 1986. It just doesn't make sense to me. You are biting the hand that feeds you. Mind you, without Caitlin Clark...
If this were LeBron James getting crushed to the ground after being poked in the eye, Twitter would melt. The Sports Center would run it continuously. But the league gives Caitlin Clark crickets, a crunch, and no whistle. Imagine Steph Curry getting pounded game after game.